Better not be another puzzle. Every year I get to say, hi! Welcome to We Got Issues. I'm the Near Mint Nerd, and welcome to our Christmas edition of the Wednesday Comic Book Haul. Today's the last Wednesday before Christmas, so I'm going to head over to my comic shop in a few minutes, pick up my weekly books. I think there's a couple of Christmas books there as well. And then, after I do my haul video, right at the end of it, I'm also going to show you some classic Christmas comics. Some are new and some are from my own collection. One in particular is pretty cool. So, very excited to get started. Let's go to town. Jingle bells, everybody. Here we go. All right, we're going to kick off our Christmas edition of the We Got Issues comic haul for Wednesday, December 21st, with a Christmas book from Boom Studios, and that is Klaus and the Witch of Winter by Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. This is Grant Morrison's Origin of Santa Claus book. I think he had like a mini-series based on this concept that's been coming out very recently. And now this is a one-shot special, just the perfect size for a little Christmas reading. It's got a little bit of a cardstock cover there, and looks to be just over, maybe a few pages over. Maybe it's a 48-page book, hard to say. I'll have to report back to you once I get a chance to read it. Regardless, though, it's a good start to this Christmas haul. Next up, we have from Marvel. We're going to switch to Marvel now. We got Deadpool, The Merc for Money, and that's number 6 by Colin Bunn as the writer. I'm not a big Deadpool fan. I don't actually read any of the Deadpool titles. I flip through them from time to time. The reason I bought this is I'm going to pop it in my son's stocking for Christmas. So kind of a cheater to even show it to you since it's not part of my collection, but what the heck. Next up, we have Thanos, number 2 by Jeff Lemire and Mike Deodato on art. Beautiful, beautiful cover. Look at that. Thanos reflects upon a single solitary butterfly. Very, very cathartic. Very zen. Although, of course, with Thanos, you know it's probably hiding a greater evil. But it's a pretty cool cover, and I'm looking forward to reading this. I haven't even read the first issue yet. So I can't even really judge how this storyline's going to go. But next up we have The Amazing Spider-Man, number 22. And this is part of the Clone Conspiracy. It's a tie-in to the main event series. The Jackal is here. He's bringing back all the dead people from Spider-Man's life and giving Spider-Man an impossible choice. Would he like to bring back his Uncle Ben? Ooh, that's some pretty heady stuff there. I'm finding though that while I'm enjoying the main conspiracy, Clone Conspiracy title, that the Amazing Spider-Man book is being used during this time to just fill in some blanks and kind of tell little side stories. So the last couple of issues have felt like, you know, you could read them or not read them. And I don't know, like I feel like if you're going to have a tie-in, make it tie in directly to that storyline. Don't just tell kind of little side tales, you know, like that to me seems like a waste. But I am enjoying it. Love Dan Slott. Love his take on Spider-Man. He's been on it for a long time now. Really digging it. So I'm going to keep going with that for sure. Next up, The Punisher. Number 1. Nope. Number 7. I did my rant last week about how Marvel is trying to make you think that all these new books are number 1s, but really it's the number 1 of a new story arc into the wild, which, you know, I'm not going to get back into that rant. You can check it out in last week's video. But really this is issue number 7, which, you know, doesn't really correspond with that big number 1 in the corner. I got this mainly because, you know, we lost Steve Dillon recently. He's probably only got a little bit of work left, and I'm going to make sure that I pick it up and enjoy everything he has left to give us because as far as I'm concerned, the man was a genius as an artist, and I know we're not getting much more. What we are getting, I'm going to own, definitely. Just note that there's a parental advisory here. Not for kids, they say. Usually they had the Max line that the Punisher would fall under when they were these explicit books, but the Max line seems to have gone away. This warning really should be a little bit bigger, but what are you going to do? Next up, and the last of the Marvels, is Star-Lord. And it's number 1, and it's a true number 1. Look at that. It actually matches up. This is by Chip Zdarsky. Part of the Grounded storyline that's running through Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole. It looks to be kind of a branded story. The whole idea of that story is that during Civil War II, the Guardians of the Galaxy's spaceship blew up. They don't seem to have access to another one, so they're all kind of trapped on Earth. So Star-Lord kind of falls into that. Guardians of the Galaxy falls into that. There was a Gamora book on the stands today, and I flipped through it. I didn't pick it up. I flipped through it, but I did notice there was a lot of scenes in space. So maybe she's managed to find a way, a ride out to space. I don't know. Hitchhike maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure if that's part of the Grounded storyline. But I do like the character. I kind of equate him to Chris Pratt now. How do you not? So even in reading it, you kind of just get that Chris Pratt vibe, which I like. So I'm really hoping that this new series is going to be good. If it's not, I just won't continue it. Okay, so that's Marvel. Going to move to DC now. First DC book this week is Green Lanterns. Phantom Lantern. I think we're up to part 5 or 6 on this storyline now. I have not read any of it yet. I'm kind of looking forward to reading the whole thing in one go. So I'm gonna just flip to the end and see if this is the last part, so I can do that. But I am digging this book. I read a couple of the earlier issues. I like these 2 Green Lanterns, Baz and Simon Baz and Jessica. They're pretty cool. They're rookie Green Lanterns. They're not out in space. They're mostly, they are, but they're mostly kind of earthbound. They're the Earth's Green Lanterns. So we get to go into space and have those deep space adventures with, our Hal Jordans and such, while these guys here keep us a little more earthbound. Next up, ooh, Nelly, I love this cover. Look at that. Batman versus Bane right there on the cover. Beautiful. He's not breaking his back. Looks like he's trying to break his neck this time. I Am Suicide. This is Batman number 13 by Tom King. And I haven't started reading this storyline. I believe this is part 2. I believe the storyline started last issue. But so far, it used to be Scott Snyder. I really like Scott Snyder, but I thought some of his stories were a little bit too much. Tom King seems to be kind of pulling back on that a little bit, and I'm enjoying some of the earlier issues, so I have no doubt when I get to this storyline, I'll enjoy that as well. Next up, it's Superman, number 13 in the Super Monster book, and I believe this is part 2, so he still has Frankenstein to contend with. Looks like Bride of Frankenstein, perhaps. She's got the stitches there. This is by Tomasi and Gleason and Doug Monk. I looked at this cover. On the shelf, and I could have sworn, just looking at Superman's face, that this was a Gary Frank cover. But I got it home and I looked it up a little closer, and it is not. It's Doug Monk. So, but it is beautiful, and I'm glad to own it. But I kind of wish it was Gary Frank, because I just love Gary Frank covers as well. Looking forward to reading this one for sure. Next up, we have part of the Young Animal line. It's Cave Carson Has a Cybernetic Eye. Very strange title by Gerard Way and John Rivera. So it's the Young Animal line, which also features the new Doom Patrol, which I love, and the new Shade, The Changing Woman, I think is the conceit of that one. I haven't read that one. I never really got into the character of Shade. I tried during the Vertigo years with Peter Milligan. It was just a little too out there for me. Maybe it's time to give it another shot. We'll see. For now, this is already very weird. I flipped through the earlier issues. I haven't read them yet. I don't think I'm going to continue too far with this one. I think maybe 3 issues might just hit the spot for me and move on, because it's one of those books that's just kind of weird for weird's sake. You know, they're trying to attract a younger audience, even though it says mature readers. I think they're looking for like mature teenagers or something, because, you know, it's very cartoony. And finally from DC this week is the kickoff of Justice League versus Suicide Squad #1 by Williamson and Fabok. And I'm really looking forward to this. You know, I don't really love the Suicide Squad book right now, and I really dislike the Justice League book. I'm sorry to say. Brian Hitch, amazing, amazing artist. I will follow him to the ends of the earth as an artist. As a writer, ooh, not so much. Sorry, Brian. Maybe stick to your strengths. I'm kind of hoping that at some point soon, DC will kind of maybe move him into another artist role, or, you know, try to convince him that maybe writing is not where he needs to be. Or maybe he just needs to cut his teeth a little more on writing, because, you know, he could get there. I don't want to say he should not be a writer. It's just, unfortunately, I'm not enjoying the stories that he's telling in Justice League. So I'm glad to have this book, both teams coming together. Hopefully, it'll be a great read. It certainly sounds like an exciting story. I bought the regular cover. There were 2 other covers. I've talked about my cover things before. You know, I'm not a big speculator. I buy what I like, and I buy what I read, and I pick up the cover that I find the most appealing. I don't, you know, look for who the biggest artist is or what the biggest resale might be. I look at the different covers if there's multiple covers, and right now DC always has 2, and this book had 3. And I picked the one that appeals to me, the one that I want to look at when I'm flipping through my long boxes, you know, at a later date. So this, for me, the other ones were kind of like white. Both of them were Batman versus Deathstroke, I think, kind of like just in the middle of just a plain field of white. This one, for me, getting all the characters a little busier, it was the one that I found most striking. I gotta admit, I didn't love any of them, but I found this one the most striking, and so I grabbed it. There was also a Harley Quinn book out this week. I'm not a huge Harley Quinn fan. I almost picked it up because it was a Christmas issue, but at the end of the day, I just had to draw the line somewhere, and that's where I drew it. So I didn't pick that up. Okay, we're going to take a really quick break here, and then we're going to come back with a little special Christmas holiday part of the haul, where I'm going to talk about some holiday books that I have. Okay, take a little break. Be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. I didn't go anywhere. I just kept talking, but I'll probably edit it so it looks like we had a little break in there. So a little peek behind the curtain there. Next up, as I was kind of going through my collection recently, I came across like a couple of Christmas covers. So I pulled them and set them aside thinking, you know, I would do a special video. But I decided to just kind of throw it at the end of this video. So here's a couple of I own all of these. These are all from my own collection that I've, you know, mostly I bought them new at the time. I'm sure I have a ton more, but I have 30,000 comics. They're all in long boxes, and I do not sort them. I know that sounds crazy, but I love going through random long boxes and finding what's there. I don't like to sort my comics. I like to be surprised when I'm flipping through them. It does make it hard if I'm looking for something specific, but it's just the way I like it, and that's the system that I use. Okay, so first up, I came across this Doom Patrol issue from the Grant Morrison and Richard Case run, which, by the way, one of the great runs in comics in Vertigo. This one, number 51, not really a Christmassy cover. Like, it doesn't really read Christmas, but you'll see at the top, it says, Extra, a Mr. Nobody Christmas. And I flipped through it, and there is a little Christmas component to the story. It's pretty minor, which is why all it gets is a little label at the top. But it fit the theme, so we pulled it. Next up, we got The Ray, Blue Christmas. I have the full run of The Ray. I actually really like this character a lot. I wouldn't say he's in my top 5 DC characters, but I really do like him. I'm thrilled that he's coming back in the new Justice League title that starts in the new year. This series from the 90s was not too great, but I collected the whole thing. I have it all. This issue is number 20, Blue Christmas, and the idea here is the Ray's just having a tough time during the holidays. He's been the Ray for so long that his life's falling apart a little bit. He's feeling a little blue. He was invited to a party. He's not sure he wants to go. At the end, he's having some girl troubles. He's met this girl. He's not sure how the relationship is functioning. By the end of the story, it's a Christmas miracle. He's making out with that girl, and all is well in the world. So it's a pretty simple story done by Christopher Priest and Jason Armstrong, who is actually a great friend of mine. He only lives a couple of blocks away from me. We've worked on some projects together. He now does mostly animation for an animation studio here in Toronto, which I've worked for many times as well. So we've collaborated in the past. Great guy. Doesn't do a lot of comics anymore. He does the odd thing with Hellboy, one of the Hellboy books. I can't remember which one. He also had his own series for a while that ran through Image called Pharaoh City. Great guy. Great, terrific artist. He was quite young when he did these books. So I'm going to give him a little shout out, Jason Armstrong. Okay, next up, I found this Sovereign 7. I have this whole series. It is not good. I'm not sure why I held on to it. I guess because of the same reason I hold on to everything. I can't possibly let any of my comics go. It's sad, but it's true. I've never sold a comic in my life. Here is number 9 by Chris Claremont, post X-Men, post being a coherent writer, I think. Sorry, Chris. I know that's mean, but kind of true, I'm afraid. Silent Night, Deadly Night. I flipped through this. It looks like half the issue seems to be a big snowball fight. I wasn't going to read the issue because, I remember not enjoying it the first time around, so why would I want to do that again? Next up, we have Guy Gardner Warrior, number 39. You better not cry, you better not pout, because this version of Guy in his warrior garb might come down your chimney, apparently, with his hot babe elf, inappropriately dressed for the weather. So is he. And look, you don't want that. You don't want this guy coming down your chimney. I don't know what was going on during this period of Guy Gardner's existence. It was bad. When he was warrior, and I have the whole Guy Gardner series. It's a book that I got every month. Bo Geis wrote it. This was ill-advised. This whole alien Native American weird warrior thing. It did not last long, thank goodness. But while it lasted, it was pretty rotten. Anyways, so this story is Guy Gardner's having a Christmas party at Warriors, which of course is Guy Gardner's bar, which is a conceit I love, by the way. I love that he owns a bar. Everyone kind of comes out and hangs out. Lobo shows up and they hang out together. Very strange. Ice, who has had kind of romantic relationships with Guy in the past, came by, and then the weirdest thing happened. He kind of bumped into Fire, and then under the mistletoe, they started kissing, and that was the last panel of the comic, is him and Fire kissing, which is just crazy because they hated each other during the run of Justice League. And, Ice is so nice, and he was with Ice for so long, and suddenly he's making out with Fire? It just seemed wrong to me. Anyways, that's number 39 Warrior. Fun Christmas cover there, to be sure. Next up is the What The Christmas Special. I have a complete run of What The as well. I used to love this comic. I love Captain America here at the bottom. Hey, this isn't entirely a Christmas issue. How come they get the whole cover? Well, they don't, because you're on it. There's Santa coming out of the chimney. These characters are named Milk and Cookies. They kind of remind me of Cloak and Dagger a little bit. Or maybe Dagger and the Thing is more apt. These comics were a lot of fun. Red Skull with the little Santa hat. I mean, they were just parody and satire. Some of it, is kind of Mad Magazine level and below. There's some really, really cheesy stuff in this comics. They're not great. Some of them are really good. Most of them not so great. Like, they don't hold up. The humor's really kind of for like 10-year-olds, which is about the age I was when I was enjoying it. Next up, I got The Incredible Hulk 378. Love this cover. Look at this. Grey Hulk versus Santa. Because we demanded it too. The most requested villain of all. I find it hard to believe that the Rhino is the most requested villain of all. But that's who is underneath this Santa suit. In the issue, it makes it more clear that he's in the Rhino suit underneath all this. And this story is about, I think it's, is it Rick Jones? Is telling a story to a bunch of kids. And this is the story he kind of spins about how the Rhino fell on hard times and needed to make a buck. He was trying to go straight, so he ended up getting a job as a store Santa. The Hulk noticed it was him. The Hulk immediately thought that he was up to no good. They have a fight through the mall, which is hilarious. And then a little girl comes and she's kind of gives a speech about Santa Claus and how Christmas is going to be ruined. And in the end of the story, Santa and the Hulk kind of team up to kind of give the kids a great Christmas. So he kind of takes on the role of Santa, and Hulk kind of stands behind him to make sure that he does the job properly and doesn't get into any trouble. It's a really cute story. It's a great fight, great art. Peter David wrote this one. Had a lot of fun with this one. Great. Still holds up, in my opinion. Next up, a very famous Christmas cover. Todd McFarlane, of course, Amazing Spider-Man number 314, and Stay Out, as Peter and MJ are evicted from their apartment on Christmas Eve. Throughout the story, Spider-Man ends up warding off some type of robbery and a kidnapping attempt when they kidnap a Santa Claus charity guy who's standing on the corner, running like a Salvation Army type thing. And then he ends up teaming up with that Santa just for a few panels near the end. And it's another really cute Christmas story, as these tend to be. And then I have one final book. This is one of the prizes of my collection, I guess. Really love this book. To be honest, I don't remember where I got it. I think it was an eBay purchase probably around 20 years ago. It is Batman number 45. A Batman and Robin adventure, Christmas adventure. Love that cover. Popping out of the Jack-in-the-Boxes with presents. I don't know where their legs are. That's kind of strange. I love the 10 cents cover price. I love how, this is not going to fetch, any excitement on the market, because I would say it's maybe a 2. The book's still connected to the staples. The staples have popped through the cover, but they are still on the inside. It doesn't quite lay properly flat. It's got a little pencil mark up here, but it's got a pretty crisp, colorful cover. The inside, most of the book, I would say, is not too yellow. There's a couple of torn pages inside. Like I said, you're not gonna get very fine prices on this, but I would say this is about it. If I'm going by it being maybe a 2, I think you can get a couple $100 for it. Not that you will, because it's part of my collection, and that means it stays with me for the rest of my life. The end. But it's a fun story. I'm going to put an interior page in there right about now. So you can see, what the interior looks like a little bit. I'm not afraid to open my comics. I'm not afraid to flip through the pages. These are to be read. These are to be enjoyed. If that decreases the value slightly, well, so be it. I'm never going to sell them anyways. Not that I don't like to speculate, not that I don't enjoy having some comics that are worth a lot of money, but at the end of the day, I have to be able to take them out of that bag and enjoy them. Okay, guys, that's it for this video. I think I've covered as much ground as I can cover today. I hope you enjoyed this Christmas edition of the Wednesday Comic Haul. I will see you guys next week before the new year, and have a great one. Merry Christmas. Well, that's it for the haul video. That's the last haul before Christmas. We'll be back before the new year next Wednesday, though, for the last haul of 2016. I want to thank you guys. I want to wish you guys a real Merry Christmas. I want to wish you guys an amazing Hanukkah, a terrific Kwanzaa, whatever you're doing, Festivus, I don't know, whatever you guys celebrate, I hope it's a great one. Be with your family, be with your loved ones, but don't forget to come back and visit the Near Mint Nerd whenever you can. I'm going to have lots of new content for you all the way through 2017 and beyond. So please subscribe. Be sure to leave a comment. I love to hear from you. It helps me to know what you guys like so I can hone in on that stuff. Maybe learn what my mistakes are and fix them. Big on that this year. That's going to be my #1 resolution, to really kind of tweak the bugs out of the system, so to speak. But I'm going to head out now. I got lots of Christmas shopping to get done. I got to drink some nog. I got to eat some cookies. All that fun stuff. And until next time, guys, just have a great holiday season. Near Mint Nerd, signing off. Ho, ho, ho.